What's going on, everyone? It's Chris Battaglia, and we are here with a very special episode of the Beans and Business podcast. Today we have Youssef from Smoke Master Cigars in St. Catharines, and we're going to be going over how to pair coffees with cigars, how we got into the cigar business, and all that stuff. So, Youssef, thanks so much for taking the time.
My pleasure, man. It's always something I wanted to do since I've been seeing you all over social media and shit, and I figured I got something to say as well, so let's do it.
Yeah, man. No, it's absolutely perfect because for those of you who don't know, cigars are another passion of mine. I'm honestly not very knowledgeable, so I'm looking forward to learn a bunch too about kind of cigars and stuff like that. So, man, maybe we'll get going on the first kind of pairing that we got set up here, and then we'll get into your background and everything like that. So, what are we smoking first with this? We made a pour over here. We got some Costa Rican Terrazoo on pour over. It's kind of like a fruity, bright coffee, higher in acidity. So what should we be pairing with that?
Yeah, so if you look from your left to your right, I kind of set it up for you in a way where it's mild, medium, full. And those are basically like the 3 levels of strength. So the first one, yeah, you picked up a mild one. It's called a Higo Casar. It's a Dominican cigar, and Dominicans generally produce milder tobacco because of the soil and the climate conditions they have.
So it's similar to coffee in that sense. Like soil, climate conditions, terroir has to do with what the taste is going to be?
Yeah, so there's a lot of similarities in the elements behind what goes, like the process behind what makes a coffee great and what makes a quality cigar just as great. As long as like the fermentation process is good, the quality control process taken care of. Yeah, there's a lot of similar qualities from that regard, for sure.
Man, so is there like a different species of tobacco, or like why is their tobacco typically lighter? Is it just a terroir thing, like where it's grown?
No, yeah. So there's so many factors that really affect the actual taste and aroma of a cigar. One of the main factors I would say, I'll list you top 5 right out of the top of my head, would probably be the plant itself. So at the top of the plant, there's something called a Ligero leaf. That's the very top of the plant that's grown in like the tobacco fields.
Okay.
Yeah, so that Ligero leaf is actually known to be the heaviest, strongest aroma strength leaf for all tobacco, mainly because the sun's hitting it the hardest. It gets most sunlight throughout the day. So yeah, people who really enjoy like a full-bodied smoking experience will ask for Ligero leaf. At the bottom of it, there's 3 components. So we talked about Ligero, and then in the middle, there's the Seco. The Seco leaf is generally known to be more for the mild medium-based cigars. It's not getting as much sunlight. And yeah, it's kind of fermented in a different process than the Ligero leaves. And then at the very bottom is called the Valerdo leaf. And the Valerdo is just something they use in probably the cheaper cigars, kind of like as a binder and filler. We'll get into that later as what exactly a binder and filler is. Yeah. But mainly like what I would really just focus on for beginners is just the wrapper, because that's where most of the taste of a cigar is actually
coming from.
Yeah, where you can kind of find the taste. 70% I would say is the wrapper.
Really? Okay, interesting. So there's kind of 3 pieces of the actual cigar plant that we're thinking about when we're smoking a cigar.
Absolutely.
So when you say Ligero leaf, is that usually darker in complexion? Like if someone's visibly looking at it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so the Ligero leaf is probably something like you would see. I'll hold up this Macanudo Inspirado Nicaragua right here. Yeah, you can see you can see like the different shade and color and in comparison to a milder cigar leaf. So this is actually more known to be a Maduro wrapper. It's a Ligero leaf, and they age it, and it's fermented, and it comes out to be a lot stronger. And it's also due to the fact that it kind of comes from the volcanic soils of Nicaragua, so it's a lot stronger.
Oh, okay. That's where they grow coffee too, so that's crazy.
Yeah, Central America.
All the minerals and things like that. But even when you were talking about volcanic soil, that's something we hear about a lot in coffee because, all the minerals, all the nutrients there actually affect the taste of the coffee growing. So that's fucking awesome, man. So should we start this one and continue the conversation?
Yeah, let's do it. I'm gonna cut yours first.
Okay. Yeah. I'll hand yours over.
So I'm using a straight cut for this one, but you'll notice a lot of other customers or any like cigar enthusiasts in general, they like to use different styles of cutters depending on what kind of draw they usually go for. So like a straight cut kind of takes out a lot of the surface area of the tobacco from the end of it, so you'll get a very looser draw, but you're also more exposed to tar accumulation because the tobacco can just build up, because based on the way you're drawing the cigar and all like the surface area exposed to your mouth, you get a lot of tar accumulation. That tends to be the case with a lot of guillotine cutters, but usually people who don't prefer that, they tend to go with a
V-cut?
V-cut or a punch cut, different cuts. You've probably seen them before.
I don't think I've seen a punch cut, but I've seen I use a V-cut usually.
Yeah, V-cut's pretty cool. Yeah, but we're going to go for a straight cut today. It's the easiest one. It's the most common one, so let's get it.
Yeah, let's do it, man. So, is it just personal preference, or would you suggest, would you suggest people cut cigars differently for different reasons?
It's a completely subjective experience. Like, people who usually use different styles of cutters have been smoking for such a long time to the point where it actually has an impact on their smoking experience. I know, like, I don't know how long you've been smoking for. I know you've been a regular cigar enthusiast. Every now and then you pick up different kinds and whatever. But
yeah,
for the most part, the people who ask for a specific punch cut, they've been in the game for like at least 5 years. And the reason why they'll ask for a punch cut is just because the draw is so narrow. You're not getting a lot of smoke output when you actually like puff on the cigar. We don't inhale the cigar actually, but you're not getting a lot of smoke output when you have such a narrow draw. And also the construction of the cigar can kind of dictate that as well. But you can kind of play like a role in that based on like what your subjective, like your preference in general is when you smoke your cigar.
Holy shit. Okay, super cool. All right, you light yours first and we'll get it going.
So the whole lighting process in itself as well is kind of an interesting concept. A lot of people like to simply char the tobacco and just put the butane straight up in the foot of the cigar. That kind of really just chars the whole taste, and you can really destroy the aroma of the cigar. What really matters when you light up the cigar in itself is just simply keep it at a distance and let it roast until you see like getting like a light red, white ash color. It might take 30 seconds. It might take a minute.
So you shouldn't be sucking on it when you light it.
Well, no. After you roast it, you can start puffing on it while you're lighting it.
Yeah.
But right now, I'm just finishing like the roasting component of the cigar, and then after that, I'll start puffing on it just to kind of get the flame running more.
Oh my god, bro! I'm learning so much today. Look at this. Been smoking like an amateur.
Yeah, no, it's actually a lot more of an intricate concept than what many people realize.
No, 100%, man. Okay, so I'm gonna try to duplicate you here.
Yeah, and if you're patient enough with it, and like you take your time, you do it right, I promise you, like the smoking experience in general will be a lot different, a lot more enjoyable. Absolutely.
This is crazy.
I think you did a good job with that for sure.
There we go.
Yeah, that looks good.
Look at that, guys. We're puffing here. We're good. All right, I'm gonna have a bit of coffee here. We're gonna mix it up.
Yeah, you want to talk about your coffee and what kind we're sipping on exactly, or?
Yeah, so this is a coffee from Terrazú in Costa Rica. So it's a shade growing. It's like 1,500 meters above sea level. Costa Rica honestly has been kind of underrated in the coffee game for a long time, in my opinion. It's starting to get the recognition it deserves, but it doesn't kind of hold that same place like marketing wise as Jamaica or Hawaii. Those coffees were very well marketed, but this particular coffee, a lot of like nice dark fruit tones, super clean finish. It is water processed.
Yeah.
And we roasted it to kind of like a nice medium, I'd say, but it has a lot of good body. Yeah, really just a solid like daily driver, man. So honestly, with the cigar, this is incredible. We're in peak state out here, guys. We're outside. Life is good.
Yes, I kind of like the way the flavor notes of that coffee I just sipped on. It really counterbalances the mild strength of the cigar, because a lot of people, like, it is subjective. Like, at the end of the day, there is no specific pairing that can make your experience more enjoyable than the other person. It's a completely subjective experience, as you're well aware of as well. But for me personally, like when I sip on a coffee, I like a little bit more of a stronger roast to counterbalance the mild notes of the cigar.
Yeah.
But it also, like, for me, mild is completely different than you. I have a much more higher like cigar nicotine tolerance.
Yeah.
Than what, you know what I mean? That might be a lot stronger for you relative to my standards, right?
This tastes like pretty smooth, pretty mild, I'd say. Yeah, like not too heavy. Is there a way people should be smoking the actual cigar when it's in their mouth? Like, obviously we're not inhaling, but should you be rotating it? Like, what should you be doing? Yeah,
so like if we're sitting outside the way we are now, the wind can really kind of affect the burn of the cigar. I would recommend after each puff, you rotate it maybe like just 1/4 of an inch, just so the consistency of the burn can kind of stay leveled throughout the entire cigar. Because what happens is, a lot of cigar enthusiasts probably can relate to this, is when you're sitting outside and it's a little bit windy, or when you're golfing and it's just the same weather conditions, whatever it is you're doing, the cigar starts canoeing. Canoeing just means that it's burning on one side a lot more than the other side.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you want to rotate it every quarter of an inch. So if it is windy and it's blowing on one part of the cigar, it's not staying on that same side of the cigar, and it's not affecting the burn of it.
Okay, no, yeah, this is fantastic, man.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about your business, man. So how did your dad get into this business? Because he started everything, right?
Yeah. So essentially, my dad's always been like a cigar enthusiast. He's been extremely passionate long before he ever had a cigar shop. The way it kind of happened was he kind of stumbled into the business after he got hit with some medical conditions where he couldn't carry on his previous career.
What was he
used to
doing
do
before?
Electrician work, so it's pretty physical. So he kind of couldn't really carry on with that, and he had to figure out an alternative. So he figured it was a calling to kind of pursue what he's passionate about already. Like, if you're gonna do something, you might as well focus on what you enjoy doing.
What you're into,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. So he kind of exemplified that with the opening of his cigar shop. And growing up personally, like, I'll tell you, I never seen my dad without a cigar in his mouth.
Really?
Very, very rarely. Like, he has his morning cigar, and then he used to tell me a lot about the composition of the cigar.
Yeah.
Even though, like, he knew, like, I didn't really care, but for him, it's like kind of his way of enjoyment and conversating with his kids, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I picked up a lot of information before I started working there myself. Also, a lot of the times I would be like a little kid just walking in the shop, and I'd kind of hear his conversations with customers and pick up on things that he's saying. And I did find it gradually interesting, kind of as I got older. But for him, it's been like 20 years in the business, since 2001. Just doing cigar retail, slowly expanding. Started off with one double-door humidor and been working his way and kind of adding more lines. And now we have over, like, I'd say 500 kinds of cigars and sizes and 70 different brands. Like, I would easily put us up there as one of, like, the largest retailers in terms of the catalog and the selection. In terms of, like, the options you have at your hand, for sure. Like, it's extremely diverse. We get from all sorts of wholesalers from all over the world, so it's been a growing business, absolutely.
That's amazing, man. And you guys are from Lebanon. Your dad's from Lebanon. Were you born there? No.
I was born here in Toronto, but my dad immigrated from, like, I'd say 40 years ago.
That's amazing, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, also, other question. You mentioned the length and, like, cut. How does that affect taste? Like, how should someone be thinking about that?
So the way the cigar is composed, we mentioned before the three levels in the cigar. We have the binder, the filler, and the wrapper. So the binder and the filler is what you see in the middle of the cigar, and the binder is what holds the cigar together so it doesn't unravel. And then the filler is a distinct quality aged tobacco that kind of adds more to the taste, but not as much as the wrapper that seals the entire cigar in itself and kind of just completes the cigar. So the way it works is you look at the ratio, how much binder and filler inside the cigar relative to the wrapper in itself. So the thinner the cigar is, you'll realize that there's not as much binder and filler to counterbalance the taste of the wrapper that's producing the notes of the cigar, right? So for the more of a thicker 6x60, we call them Gordo in, like, cigar world, those kind of cigars, you'll notice they're more full-bodied, meaning they have a lot more of a aroma to it, like the flavor is a lot more in your face, more apparent. And what you'll realize with that's a lot more stronger because the wrapper in itself, it cannot kind of compete with the same level of strength as the binder and filler because so much nicotine inside of that binder and filler, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so if you're not really into those full-bodied cigars, what you're going to really go for is the thinner ones that really have more wrapper, that doesn't have as much binder and filler to counterbalance the taste of the wrapper. That's where 70% of the taste is. So this is kind of like a standard Robusto size. I wouldn't really consider this a full body by any means. The wrapper is extremely distinct here. You can get a lot of taste out of it. It's very apparent for me. It is an acquired taste. Like you might not tell me what you're kind of noticing flavor-wise, like distinctly as much as I can pick up. I've been just smoking like at least one or two a day, especially in the summertime. Yeah, like for me, for my taste palette, I'm getting like taste notes of like cedar, oaky,
Okay, yo,
woody.
I was actually about to say woody. That's what I was picking up from this.
Yeah.
Like,
a lot of cigars can. Yeah, it's kind of a natural element of tobacco, the woodiness of the cigar.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. I was about to say like, hold up, let me guess. But I'm picking up a lot of like I don't know if I'd break it down personally just because my palate's not there, but definitely like a woodiness to it, which is really enjoyable. And this one's like very smooth. Like sometimes I've had cigars that like kind of like I don't even know how to explain it. Maybe like they leave your mouth with something, whereas this is very like the taste is there and then it's gone. I'm not too. It's like very enjoyable. I draw the smoke and I taste something and then it's gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah.
So yeah, man. Oh, that's amazing. So, what do you guys have any plans for? Like, what are you thinking for next steps with your career in cigars?
Man, this whole business has just like fucking occupied my mind for the past 2 years. Just crazy, like 24-hour obsession on a daily basis. Like, I have so much in plan at the moment. Like, my brother and I talk about this all the time. The level of creativity that I think, because there's a huge gap in the retail market, right?
I agree, man.
Bro, like you can really relate. I think you really like revolutionized parts of like the marketing of coffee, traditional coffee businesses. Like I walk into your shop and I see like the menus on the fucking ceiling. It's like I'm like, bro, what? Like it's got a little different feel to it, right?
Yeah.
And then like that coffee slut stuff that you work, like, you know, a lot of girls, like how many sluts post that on Instagram?
How many coffee sluts post
How many
it? Yeah.
coffee sluts post that on? You know what I mean? So I think what you've done is pretty captivating, attention wise, and it's really creative, and I salute you for it.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah. For me personally, like I'm in the same boat as you, but in the cigar world, there's a lot more changes coming. I don't really want to say specifically what they are, but I'll tell you like straight up right now, like it's gonna absolutely revolutionize the entire business of cigar retail. The cigar world will never be the same.
There we go. That's
again.
it.
Straight up. Like that's as simple as I can put it. It will never be the same.
Man, and I think a lot of young people like us are getting into it, right? I mean, the stereotypical picture of someone with a cigar is an old guy with a cigar, right? But I think a lot of younger people are getting into cigars and taking an interest in it. So I think there is a huge opportunity for you guys.
Well, you look at the numbers, right? I think just over the last year alone, the growth has literally exceeded over 30% in terms of how much output these Central American producing countries are exporting into like all over the world.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, we have the States as the largest cigar market in the world by far.
It's just, it's the largest market for almost everything, right?
Yeah. So like we don't really compare, and there's literally no close second. And I think they imported, it was about 400 million.
Oh my God.
Dollars worth of cigars, right?
Yeah.
But all over like worldwide, it's $1 billion industry.
Yeah.
But if you compare that 20 years ago, it was what, 50 million? So you can easily say it's grown 20 times over into a multiple $1 billion industry over the past 20 years. The cigar boom has kind of captivated a lot of people. Like you see a lot of people like on social media now, if they want to put on a persona, what do? They have a cigar
ripping a cigar. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of like the trend that we're headed towards right now.
No, that's amazing, man. No, I think it's growing. It's something that I got into, I think, honestly, probably for the persona aspect. And I just thought it was, cigars have a great story around them. They're luxurious. It's an old world pleasure. You know what I mean? You're a fucking established gentleman smoking a cigar, right? And then I got into it and I was like, oh, I actually really like smoking a cigar. It's like something you can do to just almost like unwind, or like I like to actually, sometimes I like write when I have a cigar. Like I'll jot down notes, have ideas. You know what I mean? It's just something to...
Absolutely, yeah. And like for me personally, it's a meditative experience. And what I mean by that is when you puff on the cigar, you kind of just, you're in the present. Like for me personally, I'm not thinking about other things because the cigar is occupying my mind. Like what does it taste like? What's the feel like? What aroma? How does it fare with other strength cigars? I look at my notes. I see like what I pick up from that. And then it just kind of occupies my mind for the next hour or so. And from that perspective, it is kind of relieving of stress, like mental stress. You know,
100%.
Like the alternative as well. Like you can go to the gym, you can sleep and stuff, but I like to personally enjoy cigar after if I accomplished all those things. Like if I had a long day at work, if I had a long ass workout, to me a cigar is one of the most rewarding things that I can possibly do.
It's like a small celebration.
Before bed. Yeah. Like, you know, you feel like you've earned it. You feel proud about yourself. You can just sit and enjoy it.
No, that's beautiful, man. All right, so should we get to the next pairing?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we took a quick intermission just to get the espresso ready. So now we're going to talk about pairing a cigar with espresso. So espresso, obviously, you know, top tier as far as like strength of coffee beverages go. So Youssef, what should we be smoking? We got 2 more cigars here that are unlit. What should we be smoking with our espresso here?
For this particular pairing, I'm going to take inspiration from my dad and go with our own Cuban house blend cigars. And the reason being is because the Cuban brand that we sell is considered a medium-bodied experience. So the strength isn't the mildest or the strongest, just right smack in the middle. And I think if you're looking at such strength of an espresso to pair it with your cigar, I believe that the medium body for me is what I've enjoyed the most. So I think it's something that you should consider as well.
All right, let's do it, man.
All right, let me cut mine up and then I'll get to yours right away.
Sounds good. So when you say house blend, what how are you guys getting how do you guys go about getting a private label and stuff like that? What does that mean?
So getting a private label is a lot more simple than a lot of people may realize, but essentially what it comes down to is finding a manufacturer in any country. It doesn't have to be Cuba. My bad.
No worries, bro.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be Cuba. It can be Nicaragua, Dominican, Honduras, even Mexico, depending on whatever you believe has like the most opportunity to produce the best quality cigars for your budget, and your customer, like your consumers have their own preference too, so you might want to appeal to them as well. But for us, we chose Cuban because that's the one that has the longest heritage and tradition behind cigars. They've been in the game the longest.
Did they invent them? Kinda? Or is it hard to say?
Listen, it's such a controversial topic, like who invented what, but one thing you can't debate on for sure is that they put them on the fucking map.
Because everyone, obviously, buddy, anyone who doesn't even know about cigars, you say a cohiba, people know what a cohiba is.
100%, yeah. And it's kind of because like the Cuban government really monopolized the cigar industry because they were like the first people to really market cigars. Now you have the embargo with the States, where the States can't really get Cuban cigars. They have a little of like a beef together or whatever it is.
Because of the whole Russia shit.
Yeah. So no, it goes deep. But when it comes to bringing in like your own brand, you just got to contact the manufacturer and talk about what kind of composition of the cigar you're looking for. You go do a sample taste. You go to Cuba. You talk about what volume you want to import it back into Canada.
Holy
get
shit.
your license and everything, and all that goes together. Yeah, it's just a little mutual agreement that you have with the private manufacturer.
So before we light this guy up, or as you light yours, tell me, is Cuban cigars, are they worth the money premium? Are they all hype?
Absolutely not. No, you cannot. It's such a before maybe it's debatable. Within recent times, I'd say even like as recent as the past month, it's gotten so out of hand. The level of tax increases that Canada has imposed on Cuban tobacco, and Habanos is like just a parent chain that owns all these Cuban brands.
Yeah.
It's a government-owned company as well in Cuba.
Yeah, of course
and
it is. Yeah,
Habanos just really wants more of a bigger piece of the pie, so they increase their prices, and now Canada has to increase. We already have our taxes is already as high as it is. So this cigar in particular, because it's not a Habanos cigar, you're not buying the name of a Cohiba or a Partagas or Romeo and Juliet.
You're not buying the brand.
No, but you can certainly expect comparable quality to the cigar for sure. It's the same thing as when you're buying clothing, for example. Like if you can get similar fabric material of clothes, but one says Louis Vuitton on it, the other one is the fucking what's the other one called?
Zara.
Champs or Zara, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like me personally, I prefer Zara or Champs over Louis Vuitton shirt any day of the week.
Well, yeah, definitely, man. I can own way more of them. Yeah. Versus
absolutely.
Louis, I don't know.
Yeah, so the price certainly doesn't reflect the quality of the cigar by any means, especially when you're talking like $100 plus per stick. And then you have the quality control in Cuba, and the whole cigar industry now is well aware of this fact that the quality control in Cuba has gone down tenfold over what it was the past year.
Really?
Meaning that you find a lot of like bugs in your cigar.
Like actual bugs?
Like actual bugs in your Cuban tobacco. It's not uncommon. If you open up a box of, if you spent $2,000, for example, on a box of Cohibas from wherever you get it from, you can expect at least 3 or 4 of them out of the 25 in the box to be like completely fucked up in composition.
Oh my God.
They're legitimate, as real as it gets, but the quality control just isn't there anymore.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Man, so what would you say right now is the best bang for your buck tobacco grower, producer?
I'm really, really big on Nicaraguan cigars.
Nicaragua, okay.
For the main part being right now they currently just overtook Cuba as the #1 exporters of cigars in the cigar world. So their volume is on a way higher level, meaning their prices don't have to compete with just a few brands, right?
Yeah,
they have a lot more boutique brands. They can really kind of make it more affordable for a lot of consumers. And as far as their quality tobacco goes, like you can expect extremely high quality tobacco based on like their quality control. We talk about that a lot. The blender, He knows what kind of wrapper, filler, and binder go well together. They know like how long to age the tobacco for the fermentation process.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and the quality control is just like next to none right now, because I talk about certain Nicaraguan brands, like maybe if you're a true enthusiast, you've heard of Perdomo. And I can ask any person who's ever smoked I'm like, have you ever had one bad Perdomo in your life? Nobody says they have. Never. Why? Because that Perdomo cigar, that Nicaraguan brand, goes through 100 pairs of hands. Each hand-rolled cigar is inspected over, you can say, 50 to 100 people before it goes into the cigar shop. The wholesalers,
shit.
before it's shipped out.
So there you go, guys.
Yeah. So,
bang for your buck, Nicaraguan cigars.
Yeah, most guaranteed satisfaction right now is currently found on Nicaraguan cigars. Absolutely.
That's amazing, man.
I'm going to go ahead and light this up, and I'll get to yours too.
Light this up. I'll just keep chatting. Man, this is crazy. So this, just for the coffee portion of what we're drinking right now, we have our, like, this is our College Street roast. So a natural processed Brazilian coffee from Vitor Barbosa's farm in Cerrado region of Brazil. We have a washed Ethiopian coffee from Limu, and then we have some Java from the New Santara estate in Sumatra. So this is kind of like a classic.
I've heard about Sumatra before. I don't know where I've seen that. I think I might have seen it on like some cigar magazine that I was just reading up on. They talk about the pairings of coffee and cigars. Like, what's the thing about Sumatran, like, coffee beans?
So they use a method there. Honestly, Sumatra became popular because Howard Schultz, the guy who started Starbucks, that's his favorite coffee. Mm-hmm. And they like age Sumatran coffees at Starbucks and shit. We don't do any of that. Honestly, the science around aging coffee is pretty much bullshit. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Complete bullshit. Aging green coffee doesn't do fuck. But people like to think it does. If anything, it makes the coffee worse. But
you know what's interesting about Sumatran coffee beans is that we use the same.
Yo, this slaps.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
This is nice.
The consistency of it is what really appeals to me the most. You know, I've never had, very rarely, like, any issues with the burn of the cigar. Like, you can find that with a lot of Romeo and Juliets nowadays, but
this one fucks.
It's always amongst our top sellers out of like our huge catalog at the shop.
Holy shit.
Yeah, but well, like
so what? Sorry to cut you off. What does this cost in your shop?
That one in particular cost about $7.
Bro, $7, guys. If you live in the Niagara region, $7, and I'm telling you right now, this is a fucking smacker of a cigar for $7.
I mean, listen, like, I'm telling you right now, it's like one of our top sellers for a reason, because the affordability for Cuban cigars is a huge issue in Canada. You know, like, we're not even like a top 5 importing cigar country, so we don't even get that much volume in.
Yeah.
The prices are already as high as they are. I would say, like, if you go to like countries like Spain or Germany, they really import a shit ton of Cuban. Any like UK as well.
Really?
Yeah. They're like top 5 next to like the US. There's somewhere like within, I don't know what order in particular, but they're up there for sure. You can find like more of a maybe an affordable price. Unfortunately for Canada and Australia, for example, like our tobacco taxes are through the roof. So this has become a popular alternative to a lot of cigar enthusiasts.
$7, bro. This is insane for $7. I'm just gonna buy these going forward from you.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, I wouldn't.
Is fucking great.
I wouldn't tell you otherwise. Straight up, like, it just makes the most sense at this point.
Yeah, no, it's a great cigar. Holy shit.
I appreciate you, bro.
No, this one I really enjoy. I like the other one too. I've liked both of them, but this one I just was like,
we've been tweaking this blend in particular for just about 8 years, and like, cause we supply these to like a lot of golf courses and wineries, do a lot of private labeling.
Yeah.
And then for like, especially like you sponsor events now, we're getting into that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, a lot of that goes into the process of making a quality cigar, getting their feedback and what they believe is like their preference and what appeals to them the most. We can't make everybody happy, of course. We just take like the general feedback and kind of appeal to that, and this is kind of what we've come up with.
Yeah, man. I actually bought a couple of these off your brother that were fucking huge. I haven't smoked them yet. He was saying they're like 3-hour smokes though, because they're supposed to last an entire game of golf.
Yeah,
which is crazy. They're like ginormous cigars.
Yeah. Because we make about 10 different sizes of these, right? So it's all just, you know, whatever your preferred burn time is, how long you want to sit there, smoke the cigar, how long you want to be golfing for. That kind of plays a huge factor into what kind of cigar you're buying in terms of the size of the cigar. And then also like a lot of the other factors that I would consider when smoking a cigar, there's just a main distinction in the kind of leaf that's used inside the cigar. It's either a long filler, medium, or short filler. We use a medium filler on most of these cigars. Some are long filler. Those are the ones that are just one whole leaf from the start of the cigar to the finish of the cigar. And the reason why that's important is because that makes a huge distinctive quality like difference in terms of the burn of the cigar. It's going to be a lot more consistent if it's one leaf, whereas a short filler, you're getting shavings of tobacco.
That's when the cigar falls apart, kind of thing.
That's
right?
when it burns. Yeah, unravels on you. You kind of just fucks up the whole cigar experience. But they're super cheap. We consider them like daily dog walking sticks. If somebody's looking for a cigar just to puff on while doing like yard work, for example, or just walk in the park, that's probably your perfect cigar like budget.
Bro, question for you. So a lot of people, what they do with cigars, which I was told not to, is like obviously you'll get this kind of like gray, like the burnt part. You don't ash that out though.
You don't ash that out.
No.
No.
Because a good rolled cigar, it'll like stack up, right? If it's made properly.
Yes. It's a lot to do with the quality of the tobacco, but even more so with the hand roller. And like the blend in the hand roller and the way those hand rollers are constructing the cigar really plays a huge factor into the consistency of the burn, which kind of can give you a longer ash.
Holy shit.
And the reason why you don't want to ash it, like you want a longer ash because if you ash your cigar like multiple times as you're smoking it, the flame of the cigar is now more exposed to the air or like the surrounding wind that's blowing into the cigar, and it might burn the cigar more like differently than what it's supposed to burn. Yeah, so you keep the ash on so it protects the flame inside the cigar.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's crazy, man. See, I was told that, and so I knew not to ash it. But you see people like fucking, it's a dart. You know what I mean? Like
they don't really know what's going on. They like probably smoke once or twice a year, and they just like ash it. Like they could give less of a fuck, to be honest. With like it's not really that big of a deal for them. But for the ones who like are regular enthusiasts, they smoke on a daily. Yeah, they'll even like testify like ashing your cigar is one of the worst things to do, like to worsen your smoking experience.
Yeah. By the way, guys, we're shooting this. You can probably tell from the video, but we're shooting this actually outside of the factory. So
I love it.
All the cars driving by and stuff, getting all the audio.
Yeah. This is pretty dope.
Well, I was debating doing it inside, but the only problem is that we do have coffee. Actually, if you go to smell perfumes, usually they'll have a cup of coffee beans roasted near the perfumes because coffee is such an absorbent of smells, and I just was worried about contaminating some of the roasted coffee with smoke, just because obviously drinking a cup of smoke might not be everyone's forte.
That's really valid. Yeah, I never considered that.
Yeah, so I was like, we'll just, and then the weather also cooperated. It's like the most perfect day ever to smoke a cigar and chat.
I was expecting it to be a lot hotter than what we're currently.
Me too. Going through. I was expected to sweat my ass off, but it's actually I'm not even. I'm fine.
Yeah, no. It was just a week ago. I was literally in my backyard. It was so hot, and I had a cigar in my hand, and I felt so fucking dizzy after. I was kind of hoping I wouldn't get that similar experience, but it's been great so far.
Yeah, no. Yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah, you got to take it easy. My novice advice for cigars is stay hydrated when you smoke.
Yeah, I got a cup of water beside me. Right, I told Chris before the podcast, I'm scared we get fucking between cigars and coffee. We'll get so fucking dehydrated, and the sun hitting my face too.
Yeah, just cooking out here.
Die out here. Yeah, no,
so
it's not worth it.
Yeah, guys, stay hydrated when you smoke cigars, and that's definitely my only takeaway. The rest, I think Youssef's told you guys today.
For sure.
So, you're a big Kanye fan.
Huge.
How'd you feel about Donda?
Honestly, I didn't really give it much of a listen. I just
Dude,
I used to be a lot bigger of a fan than what I was.
What do you think his best album was?
I love Graduation.
Yeah?
Yeah, Graduation. Mainly because when I was a lot younger, I feel like it resonated with me a lot more.
Yeah.
I was more school oriented back before I realized I didn't really care that much about school.
Yeah, you said fuck school.
Yeah, before I said fuck school,
you day trade, right?
I do day trade.
You still day trading?
Oh yeah, every day.
How do you feel about what do you think is going on with the markets right now? Now we're just gonna.
Well, if we're talking stocks, I think it's extremely volatile. Just given the current state of economics of the world, for obvious reasons, the whole Ukraine war and then the post-COVID pandemic and whatnot, all these things just extremely make the whole market on a different level in terms of what we're used to. But me personally, I trade currencies. So the currency,
you're a forex guy.
Yeah, essentially forex. So it's known to be recession-proof. It's you can't really crash the dollar.
Bro,
because it's controlled by.
Fuck, I have so many questions now.
Yeah.
We're gonna go down a whole other rabbit hole.
Yeah. I can, let me just put it this way. Something I've been doing every day for the past 3.5 years. Every fucking day. Even this morning, it's something that
But
I
what's
have
your best
no
day?
problem.
Do you have a best day?
In terms of money making?
Yeah, it doesn't. You don't have to tell us a number, but even a percentage.
Yeah, man. It depends. The percentage is gonna relate to how much your capital you're trading with, right? I can give you a 3%, right? But I've had contracts with prop firms, like funding firms and stuff like that, where I've day traded for them. I give them a percentage of the cut that I make, but they give me a shit ton of capital in return. So you can go up to like 100K account balances and make 3% a day.
Holy fuck.
It's completely like legitimate in every sense of the word.
So how'd you start in day trading?
Honestly, it's just something I knew I'd be good at. I didn't know I'd be good at it like within 3 years. I was expecting like 5 years plus, and this is like, I'm just being humble in every sense of the word, right? But I enjoy risk, and I enjoy risk, and I enjoy making money, and I think they go hand in hand, because all trading is taking on risk every day. So the whole psychology of the game appeals to me as well. I always felt like I was very relatively like controlling my emotions, like very, more than the average person. So I had no problem losing money the first 2 years, losing what I can afford. Obviously, I don't have a shit ton of money to spare, like when I was first up and coming. But yeah, like I had no problem. Like if I can afford to lose $300 a month and still be okay, for the experience I get in return, I was willing to exchange that. Like that was your education. That was my mentality going into it for the whole thing. And then what you realize is when you detach your focus from the money component of things, it's a lot easier to make it. It's so weird. Like I can't explain it. It's just like when you don't care about the money part of it. It's like when your coffee business, right?
No,
like,
I know exactly what you're saying.
If you completely just focus on making the consumer happy, right?
Yeah.
But you're not focused on like making the most sale, like the biggest sale. You just want to like, okay, if you want this coffee where we have less margins, but that makes you the happiest, that's what I'm going to push for every time.
It's like, it's like playing a game. It's like, man, as long as I make sure, if I'm making people happy and I'm like kicking the shit out of the people in my industry that I compete with, as long as I'm doing those two things, then the money's going to come. The money will come.
Yeah. Because,
you know what I mean?
Especially, man, coffee's such, like cigars saturated too, don't get me wrong, but bro, coffee is just on
very
a whole
saturated.
Level,
yeah,
man.
Absolutely.
And you didn't have it easy either. Like you didn't do it in an era where there was no competition in your area.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like
we opened up near other spots.
Yeah, you opened up beside a big competitor.
Yeah,
that's not an easy accomplishment to really talk about. So like you definitely can relate to the competitive spirit when it comes to like trying to capitalize on opportunities and stuff.
No, that's crazy, man. So Forex, holy shit! I feel like the last cigar, I'll probably just ask you a bunch of Forex questions because now I have so many questions. Did you take any courses or anything?
I took a few, but none really kind of taught me what my personal experience has taught me. Like I learned a lot more losing money of my own than I did from just trying to preserve as much capital as possible and use certain strategies that like, because what I really discovered is that like the whole market is subjective based on how you see it, right? So nobody can really give you a fucking strategy to go and trade and like use this pattern to trade this chart and you're gonna guarantee yourself X amount. Like that's just complete bullshit. And a lot of people who probably day trade any market, whatever it's currency, stocks, crypto, whatever it is, it's all the same psychology, right?
Yeah.
They can all relate to that for sure.
No, that's crazy, man. Let me just check the time, see when I gotta reset the cameras. We're good. We're good for another little bit. Yeah, man. Okay, so you start, Forex. What do people need to know? If someone's watching this now, they've watched this, they were into the cigars, now they're like, fucking Forex, holy shit.
Yeah, they're like, what the fuck are we talking about here? Like, how do we switch the topic from cigars? You know what I mean? Like, just crazy. But no, we're very diverse in our skill sets here, and we like to.
That's it, bro. We got to talk about everything. No, but I mean, I think it's just interesting because I think a lot of people are interested in making money. I feel like anyone who's into cigars has high-minded aspirations. I'm going to go ahead and make that. I feel like a lot of people who are into cigars, plus who doesn't want to make more fucking money? Everybody wants to make more money.
Bro, I'm not passionate about shit with the exception of cigars and a few other things, but my number one thing is just making money. Like, I've never seen...
How old are you, man?
25. I just turned 25. But yeah, like...
When was your birthday?
May 18th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Happy belated.
Yeah, thanks, bro. Yeah, like a month and a half ago.
Yeah.
Much. But yeah, I'm like, I just kind of observe people who have pretty interesting, high-paying careers or like entrepreneurs, and I don't think they're generally passionate about the actual product that they're selling as opposed to like the market execution, the strategy, and how they're pushing it, and the creative like brand exposure, whatever they used to implement that strategy behind their whole objective. Like you got this whole podcast running in right now, and I think that's pretty fucking dope. I'm thinking of doing it myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We'll talk about that later.
100%, yeah.
Yeah, but like this whole element of creativity that goes behind making money is what I enjoy the most.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like,
no, I know what you're saying. I agree.
Yeah,
Like,
this is like my first podcast for those who don't know, but I feel like it's such a creative way to really get a message across to people that I have no problem sitting here all day. If people who are who genuinely give a fuck, I won't do it today. I have other shit to do. But if we can come back another day,
yeah,
and
we'll
spend
run it
some
back.
more time,
Absolutely.
yeah, we can spend some more time and like we'll get some feedback and see what people really appreciate the most. And I have no problem going on for hours. I think it's such a great way to get a message across.
100%, man. And also for like for people who wonder why it's like valuable to run a podcast, like even me personally, like I've made so many valuable connections. I've had so many interesting conversations. Like I just get to sit down and learn about someone who's an expert at a certain thing. Like I've had real estate guys on, now I've had guys that run massive like merch businesses. I've had a bunch of interesting people that I've got to talk to.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say it's the easiest thing in the world to do either. I think bro, like with all respect, like you make it look easy. With all respect to other podcasters, like I don't think it's as good as what they think it is for them. Like it's not really taken off the way they expected it. You were telling me, bro, within 4 months, how much you get on TikTok?
I think we're just at 11K. Yeah.
Bro, within 4 months.
Yeah, it's been crazy.
You know what I mean? Like if you were to just set up a camera and talk to people, not everyone can gain that exposure. Not everyone can captivate the attention of an audience. I know TikTok's a growing platform, and I know it's exponentially like on the come up.
Of course, it's definitely the easiest platform to grow on right now. But you still can't be shit. Yeah.
You're telling me there's no like competitor out there that's gonna take away all that attention that you're competing for. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
no, exactly.
You got to really be creative in the way you communicate with people. I think you really like exemplify that on a good level.
No, thank you, man. I appreciate that. All right, man. Should we reset and go for the last one?
Yeah, let's run it up.
All right, we're chilling here. We're here for the third and final cigar on this beautiful Friday afternoon.
Can you hear me properly?
Oh yeah, you're golden.
Yeah. Okay,
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So off camera, we were just talking about kind of. I was asking Forex questions, the normal stuff. But to bring it back to cigars, we're now smoking what you've described as the strongest one.
Oh, yeah.
So what makes this the strongest one? Because in coffee, strength is a very kind of convoluted term. It kind of means different things to different people. So what does strength mean in cigar world? Thank you.
In the cigar world, there's different terminologies we use to really characterize strength. A lot of people confuse a full-bodied cigar with like a super heavy, strong, spicy, peppery cigar, which is not really the case. Well, full body, what we're trying to say is there's a lot of flavor. It's very in your face, very apparent. When you talk about the strength of the cigar, you can just say it's a super strong cigar. Like, it's as simple as that, right? There's no really simpler way to put it. But what makes this one in particular the strongest one is just where the soil, the tobacco is, what soil is used to grow it, the region it's coming from. And like we talked about earlier, the plant that's used to really go into the cigar, like the ligero leaf, at the very top, it's getting the most sun. And then the fermentation process really plays a factor into the quality of the cigar, because what happens is, like, if you don't really age and ferment the cigar properly, there's a lot of like ammonia in the leaf, so it's still green. Like, you show me your green coffee beans before they're being roasted. I think it's very similar to the way cigars are, the fermentation process, right? And the reason why the fermentation process is so important is because if you don't give the tobacco leaf time to really dissipate all these elements of ammonia and other chemicals that kind of give that super bitter taste in the tobacco leaf of the cigar, it's going to just counterbalance the true strength and the true like aroma that the tobacco is capable of embodying.
Okay. Yeah. Sweet, man. Let's go. I'm ready. So this guy's from Nicaragua.
This is from the actual near volcanic soils of Nicaragua. It's a brand called the Macanudo Inspirado. And Macanudo is like a world-renowned premium brand. Before they came into Nicaragua, they were very known for their Cuban heritage. So the founders, forget what his name's top of my head. There's so many of these brands now, but the founder I think he was of Cuban heritage. So he really came from that cigar background and that culture, but he just put the Nicaraguan spirit into it as opposed to Cuban.
Oh, okay, that's awesome, man. That's crazy. And so, what does this go for in your store?
It's about $12.
$12, man. Look at, guys, this is value right here. Everyone thinks, I feel like the other thing is people think like cigars, like, bro, I got to break the bank on cigars. You know what I mean? It's so expensive, but you brought in like 3 sticks that are all like under $20, I feel like.
It's because I truly believe like the price doesn't reflect the quality of a cigar at all. It's such a subjective experience, and it's so hard for you to know what you like unless you try. Like, how do you know what you like unless you try so many of them? You know, like, you don't know, you can't value a good cigar unless you've had a shit cigar. If every cigar you've had is a premium fucking cigar, you're not gonna really value it as a good quality cigar because that's all you fucking smoke. But the other day I had the worst cigar of my life, and I've been smoking for like years and years now. It was complete horse shit, and now I appreciate the true value of a quality premium cigar a lot more.
Tell us about it. Where'd you get it from? Wow. Well, maybe you don't have to throw them under the bus. But where was it grown? What kind of cigar was it?
It's also a Nicaraguan cigar, right?
Really?
Yeah. But they use a short filler, so the consistency isn't gonna be there. We talked about short fillers just earlier today. We're talking about how they use the shavings of tobacco to really fill up the fillings of the cigar on the inside.
Yeah.
So the consistency of the burn is just complete trash. Whereas this one is like a very high quality long filler leaf. And they're world renowned for a reason. Been in the game for, I think, just about 100 years, give or take. So they know a quality cigar and what goes into it and the work behind it. Whereas other companies who are kind of trying to appeal to a different demographic or a different consumer market, they're trying to appeal to the ones who don't really give a shit about what they're smoking. They're trying to just sell to people who want something to puff on, to consider like as a daily cigar.
Yeah.
Something that's budget friendly. Because if you're going to go into like the premium side of things, like you're going to spend a shit money on quality control, the best blender, the best hand roller, all these things that make your experience so much more enjoyable. Whereas they don't really do that. They're trying to preserve all their like the capital they make and just really get any product out there.
Yeah.
And yeah, that when you talk about that, like of course you're gonna get what you pay for sure. But once you pass a certain threshold in terms of the components of making a good cigar, like after that, it's just like they're all good. It's just which ones are good to you as a subjective cigar enthusiast. Like you've tried so many. Do you have any particular brand that really stands out besides our house blends?
Bro, this is actually like they've all been fantastic for different reasons. This one's cool because it's very spicy. Now this one I'm getting like, do you get spice off this?
Oh yeah.
Okay, because I'm getting like way more. I don't even know how to describe it. I'd say like spice. It does have like, I feel like tobacco just has a woodiness to it, but it's very. This one's like way more potent, I'd say, and definitely has spice to it. Yeah. I'd say out of the three today, the second one was probably my favorite.
Yeah, likewise.
But this is nice as well, and this is really like I'd say a more involved sensory experience. There's a lot going on here. Like
I think that's a good way to put it for sure. And I've kind of recognized a pattern in terms of your taste palette. Like you always come in the shop, and I think you really go for a lot of medium cigars the most. Sometimes you'd be like, just give me whatever you think is good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But when I get your feedback, I feel like you've enjoyed medium-bodied cigars a lot more than other blends, right? So I think that's something you might want to lead in towards more. The more you experiment with cigars, you might want to talk about, like, you're asking, like, anyone who's at the shop next time you come in, be like, hey, like, what medium-bodied cigars, rather, would you really recommend for my liking? And I could really narrow it down for you and talk about what you like to pair it with. We're all big on coffee, right? They go hand in hand. But a lot of customers love like the whole whiskey.
Yeah, we do the cognac
wine.
sometimes.
Yeah. It all goes hand in hand, right? Me, I'm very big on coffee for sure, and especially like your espresso. I found it extremely appealing with like the other medium-bodied cigar that we smoked, our house blend. Yeah,
it was nice.
I'm looking to pair that as my morning cigar now for sure.
Beautiful. Well, no, man, this has been awesome, man. So shit. Let's wrap it up, man. Where can people find you?
At the moment, we have our physical location is 145 Carlton Street. It's the Lake and Carlton Plaza where the Shoppers is. We have like plans to expand a lot more in the very near future. But for the time being, you can soon find us online. Probably within the next month or so. Our website's just under maintenance right now. We're adding a whole bunch of components to the packaging, the shipping process, and all that stuff. So that's gonna be huge. Yeah, but you want to stop by, give us a conversation. We'll talk all day. Talk about my cigar experiences with you guys, and it'll be awesome.
That's awesome, man. And Instagram and everything will be linked below, guys. So definitely, if you're buying cigars in the Niagara region, guys, these guys are the best in the business. As you can tell, super knowledgeable, super passionate, and they're not gonna try to fucking swindle you out of money. So, yeah, 100%. I'd say like anyone from the aficionado to someone just getting into it. Smoke Master Cigars, guys. Youssef, thanks so much for taking the time, bro.
Man, thanks for the opportunity and letting me speak on my passions and all that, man. It's been a pleasure for sure.
All right, bro. Till next time, guys.